All right, happy Tuesday evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Dr. Staci. I'm so excited you guys decided to join me here tonight. Thank you for everyone that invited their guests, friends, and family members. I'm going to be sharing some great information with you. Of course, I'm going to give you plenty of time to be able to ask your questions in just a little bit once I kind of go over the basics of the science and technology of how this works and kind of the frequently asked questions, kind of get those out of the way, right, for all of our guests tonight. So I want to give you a little bit of background on me real quick. I have a PhD in integrative medicine and a PhD in functional medicine. I've been in holistic health the last 20 years. And before that, I was a school teacher 30 years ago. So I love to teach. I love to educate. I love to train. I love to share all kinds of information with you guys. I have been utilizing this technology, this specific LifeWave technology for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in May that I have been using this. So I want to share with you a little bit about it, about the background and history of it and how it works, as well as be able to answer your questions. But before I get started, I want to make sure you understand that the information that I share tonight is information. It's not intended to treat or cure or diagnose anything at all, of course. And I'll reiterate this throughout the call. I won't be talking specifically about diseases or disorders or syndromes. I can't, obviously. You would definitely need to check with your healthcare provider if you have specific questions about your health. But I will be talking about the different systems in our body and the different organs in your body, because that's what our clinical studies are based on. They're based on people's systems, organs, and the cells in the body. And so we do have research. We have over 90 clinical studies, many double-blind, placebo, independent labs, and researchers all over the globe that have studied this technology for the last 20 years. So I'll give you a little bit about background on the history of that. The inventor of this technology, this non-transdermal patch we're going to be talking about here tonight, his name is David Schmidt. And for those of you that were in Tampa in Sarasota this past weekend, we were blessed to have him with us at our event in Sarasota, Florida, sharing science and technology and all kinds of innovative information. But David is an inventor. He is a scientist, he's a researcher, and he loves to live in the lab. And so he was actually working for the U.S. Department of Defense. He was contracted by them to work with the Navy SEALs about 20 years ago on one of their missions, the mini submission. And so during that mission, he was asked if he could contribute to the SEALs' issues of sustainability, endurance, and stamina and energy. They were on amphetamines, caffeine, uppers, all kinds of stimulants, and their quality of life was diminished. And of course, they have to be on 24/7, right? Days and sometimes weeks on end. And so he was downloaded by the divine, by God, the idea to create a non-transdermal patch that turned body fat into fuel, triggers beta oxidation. And that is called Energy Enhancer. That's the first patch David invented. Things went well for the SEALs. Everything was going great. And then, of course, you guys know here in the United States, 9/11 happened. Our world, our country took a very different turn to bear more arms and protect the country. And so David no longer was working, nor was anybody else on that job for the SEALs. And so we thought, this is a great idea. This is a great product. I think I'm going to do some clinical studies on this to really see in a clinical study setting. So he started working with Stanford University swim team coach, and then of course went on to the USA Olympic swim team. I'm sure many of you remember back in the early 2000s, the Olympians swept the gold in the swim, and there was huge controversy. I remember my parents watching it on TV and reading about it in the paper. They had to test these little patch things that the swimmers, the Olympians, were wearing to make sure there was nothing going into the body, because as an Olympian, you can't add anything, enhance anything, any performance with any type of transdermal or any nutrient or supplement or whatnot. And of course, cleared. Everything was amazing. And this was used and approved for the USA Olympic swim team, as it's went on to be for many of the major sports, NFLs and, tennis, golf, all that kind of stuff. You can see all of the world's strongest man back in the early 2000s was using the energy enhancer patches. And so from there was the beginning. And David decided to start his own company because of the results from the clinical studies. This energy enhancer increases mitochondrial activity, ATP. It helps to turn over your lymphatic system. And like I said, give you energy, endurance, and stamina. And so that was the start a little over 18 years ago of LifeWave. And David has since, in the last 18 plus years, invented a dozen patches total. We're not going to go over all the patches tonight. Probably some of the things will come up, of course, in different types of questions you guys ask me. But just the basics of this patch, what this is, how this works, and what it can do for you. So over the last 20 years, he's invented a dozen patches. But his most famous current claim to fame, of course, is using the X39 stem cell activation patch, which signals your body to activate, elevate, mobilize, and reset its own stem cells. This patch will reset a third of your genes from the second that you put it on. And so your genes, as you know, are responsible for what's going on in your body, right? And so they get damaged over the years. And so this will upregulate or reset them back to their young, youthful, healthy state from the moment that you put it on. And we know that there's a compound effect, of course. The longer you use this, day after day, week after week, month after month, even year after year, we can see massive improvements in reversing the functionality of the cells and tissues and organs. So this is regenerative medicine. I want you to understand the information I'm going to share with you tonight, and specifically with the stem cell activation patch. This is your body regenerating itself. So as I mentioned, this is a non-transdermal patch. Non-transdermal means nothing's transferring into your body. I'm sure you're familiar with pain patches, birth control patch, nicotine patch, hormone patch, things like that. So those transfer a substance or a chemical into the body. This does not work that way. So I want you to understand this is very different probably than what you're used to with a patch. And so what that means is with this patch, you don't have to worry about things interacting with what you're currently doing or using. For example, if you're on medications or if you're taking supplements or you're doing different kinds of therapies, there are no contraindications or interactions with this because there's nothing going into the body. People ask me all the time, what if I have a pacemaker? What if I have stents? What if I have a hip replacement? What if I have a knee replacement? Those things are perfectly fine. This is working with your body's heat that we emit or your body's light to signal very specific peptides in the body. So this is how it works. This patch, you can see the back of it, it's sticky back here. This patch, again, has nothing in it. When we apply it to our body, you know, we emit heat. If you put your hand on your chest, you're 98.6-ish, right? How do I know I emit heat? Well, we can go outside right now here on the East Coast where I live. It's dark. And so I can't see my next door neighbor or even my dog if she were outside right now without night vision goggles. And when I have the night vision goggles on, I can see the outline of the human or the animal because of the heat they're emitting, okay? That low level infrared light that we emit, whether it's blue, green, yellow, red, whatever. And so that's what our patch is working with, okay? So we emit heat or light. When we apply this patch, see that white part in the center? That white part has embedded in it a crystal lattice structure. And so what do I mean by that? Well, that means that is what David has invented, this crystal lattice structure. Okay, so if you're familiar with crystals like clear quartz crystals or amethyst or blue, that has nothing to do with this. Totally different. I want you to understand that, okay? So these are not little pieces of crystals that are put in here. This is actually what's called stereoisomers. They're molecules that form together in a specific way. And so these molecules is what David has invented, this proprietary blend of organic amino acids, salts, oxygen, sugar, water that form this lattice, okay? So here's what you need to understand. I put the patch on. My body's heat is going to communicate with this patch, meaning the heat is going to reflect back a signal, a specific wavelength of light from the lattice that's in that patch. So nothing's entering the body. It's called photobiomodulation. And you're probably familiar with it if you're familiar with infrared saunas or red light therapy, blue light therapy, laser therapy. That's all specific wavelengths of light that are entering the body and causing something to happen. So I have a sauna, infrared sauna in my gym. And if I want to put it on detox mode, like I did this morning, I push the detox mode, and very specific wavelengths of light that I do not see are coming into my body to help detox my cells. If I push the button that says anti-aging, then different wavelengths of light are coming into my body to help my cells in that reversing the age of my insides as well as my outsides. Push a different button for pain reduction. I can push a different button and use cardio, right? I can do all kinds of stuff. It's all different wavelengths of light. But here's the cool thing. You don't have to figure that out with the patch. You put the patch on, our body immediately communicates with it, knows exactly the wavelength, obviously, of light because of the crystal lattice structure that's embedded in the patch, reflects back that signal into your body. What happens from there? It increases, like I said, activates, mobilizes, resets your own stem cells back to their young, youthful, healthy state. Pluripotent stem cells. Okay, pluripotent means they can turn into any type of cell, tissue, or organ that's needed. Now, how does it do that? Like, how would you signal your body to mobilize its own stem cells? Well, the X39 does that through what's called a peptide called GHKCU, copper peptide. So there's a website, it's reverseagingwithghk.com. Dr. Lauren Picard has spent over 50 years researching clinical studies with people showing the effects of using the just the increase of GHKCU in your body, right? So David takes that research and says, hey, if we can turn on genes, and one of those genes is P63, we can mobilize stem cells, we can activate stem cells, we can reset the body's stem cells, we can literally repair and regenerate the body, reverse the functionality of the cells and tissues and organs. Sounds crazy, right? But it's really real. It may be like Star Trek to some of you guys, but it is very real here and now. It took him 10 years to figure out how to do this in the lab with people, obviously, and so with blood, you can see through this clinical studies that it's actually signaling your body to elevate its GHKCU, mobilize its own stem cells, and they're your stem cells. That's the beautiful thing. So if you don't know what stem cells are, for me personally, I found out about stem cells over 20 years ago when I was pregnant with my daughter. I banked both of my kids' cord blood because of the research that I was doing at that time. And so cord blood back then was being used to cure African-American children of sickle cell anemia. Donor cord blood cured them on the spot. And I thought, that's impressive. So if that's happening, what else do this cord blood do? These stem cells do? And of course, they said bank them in a cryo facility. If you ever need them for diseases, diabetes, cancer, heart disease, things like that, you can use your own cord blood to heal yourself. And I'm like, that's a no-brainer for me. And so over the last 20 years, obviously, more research I've done into that. I actually had the, I don't know if you want to call it the pleasure or the, I don't know how you say it, but I was able to use different types of stem cell therapy with my daughter when from ages like 5 through 19. So about 14, 15 years, I was able to do different types of stem cell therapy with her in and out of the country, injections, hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy, all kinds of stuff like that. And so I'm very familiar with different types of stem cell therapy. This is not putting anything in your body. It's not an injection. It's not, you don't have to worry about being invasive or improper cell division. You don't have to worry about, somebody else's cells with yours. This is your body doing what it was designed to do. We had an abundance of stem cells when we were young. Obviously, that's why 5-year-olds don't have gray hair and 10-year-olds don't have back pain and 15-year-olds don't have heart disease, right? Their stem cells are always working to repair and regenerate themselves. And then what happens as we age, our body has less and less stem cells that are active. It's just part of life. By the time in your 30s, you have half of your stem cells active and mobile, working at all times to repair your body. And let's be honest, by the time you're in your 60s, you have less than 10% that are mobile. So what does that mean for your body's ability to repair itself? Well, it means it's declined, right? That's why we see these degenerative types of diseases that start to come in after your 50s and 60s because of the body's inability to repair itself like it did when it was younger. How many of you guys know somebody that's broken a bone or cut themselves when they were in their 60s or 70s and they just do not heal? Their body takes forever. Maybe they don't heal. I've met people that say, I've had this same issue, this same broken ankle for the last 10 years, and I can't get it to heal up. Well, your body doesn't have those stem cells on board anymore to do that. So this patch says, hey, Let's do what we did when we were younger. Let's get your stem cells mobile again. Let's get them active. Let's get them moving. Let's just go ahead and reset a third of your genes while we're at it. You know, genes express to other genes, like I mentioned. And so there is a compound effect of using this day after day, week after week, month after month, even year after year. The longer you use this patch, the more benefits you're going to gain. Now, people always ask me, how long do I have to use this? Is this something I have to do for the rest of my life? And I always tell them, you know what? If you go to the doctor and he says you're going to be on metformin, you're going to be on Lipitor, you're going to be on Protonics, you're going to be on that Ambien, you're going to be on Xanax. Like, you just be like, okay, I'll go to CVS and fulfill my prescription every single 30 days because that's what my doctor said. And a lot of people are like, no, I don't want to do that. What else is there, right? But we know a lot of people have been programmed and trained to know they have to go to the doctor and get that prescription. And sometimes there's like literally life-saving medicine that you take every single day and every month. So please don't think I'm discounting that. I've lived in the hospital with my daughter about a total of 1.5 years over her life. And so it was not a pleasant experience, but there were times that those medicines obviously saved her life. So I understand the importance of them. But we know that this is designed different than that. This patch is designed to get to the root of the problem, not to mask a symptom, but to get to the root of the problem. That's what stem cells do. That's what your body does. Your body knows how to heal itself. It has its own innate ability to know how to do that. When you were younger and you cut your finger or you broke your bone, it wasn't the Band-Aid or the cast that fixed it. It was your body from the inside out. And so this says, let's do what we did when we were younger. Okay. And so what you know is that this technology, what we recommend is 1 month for every 10 years you are old. Okay, so if you're in your 40s, then you would use this every day for 4 months. If you're in your 50s, 5 months, 60s, 6 months, 70s, 7 months, or we always say just stop patching whenever you want to start aging again. But because we know that looking at the science and the data, we can see about every 6 years, you're about 8 years younger. So if you're looking at the cellular age in the body, we can see about every 6 months using the patch, it's about 8 years younger. So you do the math on that. If you're in your 70s, well, in 6 months, you're still going to be in your 70s, or you could be in your 60s. Give another 6 months and you could be down in your 50s. Give it another 6 months and you're probably going to be in your late 40s, or you're going to be still in your 70s. So it's about vitality. It's about getting the quality of life back. It's about longevity and prevention. For me, I've always wanted stem cell injections, always, for prevention and for vitality and longevity. I just wasn't willing to pay the $25,000 price per injection. And so when I found this technology almost 2 years ago, my husband, my son, and I all listened to a very informative, amazing video from David talking about what I just shared, how he got started and where he is today with this stem cell activation patch. And all three of us said, sign me up. We're in. This is the price of a cup of coffee a day. We can all use it. Now, why would you think at that time, my son, who was 17, why would he need to be using this patch? Well, he wanted it for performance. He wanted it for the gym. He wanted it for the basketball court, along with the energy enhancer. That's what he wanted it for. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And of course, you know, it's not going to hurt him. It's just he already has plenty of stem cells. But boy, it sure was nice to use this whenever he had a couple injuries in basketball, sprained ankle, a split lip. Most recently, somebody, hit him in the air and messed up his hip and stuff. And so we were able to use a couple of these patches in combination to rapidly speed up his recovery time, where normally he would have healed pretty fast anyways, right? And he's an 18-year-old kid. But when you can take that time and cut it in half, or even 90% faster than it would, that's really, impressive. So what does this mean for you, everyday average person? Well, I want you to think about your grocery list of issues or problems. We like to use this health tracker sheet. I'm sure you've probably seen this. If not, the person that invited you can send you one, PDF, an email, or in a message. This health tracker, we love this because it gives you a way to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. And how am I feeling? What's my quality of life? What are the things on my list that are really bothering me? And trust me, I hear them every single day from people. And it's so hard to hear what you guys are going through and know that this is from, one little thing here, one accident there, this stress here, this compound effect in the wrong direction, and your bodies have gotten really out of balance. And so what the X39 does is it starts that process to help bring your body back into balance, back into homeostasis. And so what are you going to notice with the patch? Well, you're going to notice, and I'm going to go by clinical studies, okay? If you noticed something before, that's fantastic. You guys can, of course, share in the chat your personal experiences and what you notice. But what people see from the clinical studies is about that 3 to 6 week mark, they start to notice some pretty significant changes. Pain reduction, better quality sleep, more mental clarity and energy, concentration, focus. They notice more physical energy, faster recovery from their daily activities and exercise, as well as wound healing, faster wound healing. So we notice that. Sharon Arnold this weekend, she was up on stage sharing her personal testimonial, 9 days. She's 70 years old, broke her wrist. 9 days later, the x-ray showed her wrist was completely healed. She didn't do anything but have, her friend put the X39s up in there inside of her cast. And the doctor's like, there's no way you could be 70. And she's like, okay, then I'm not. He's like, 70-year-olds don't have stem cells. Like, there's no way your body can heal itself. But the X39 helped her body because it signaled her body stem cells, right? And so you want to make sure that you understand that we're all different. So keep in mind, I'm going to start answering your questions here in a minute. We're all different, but know that, and we're all going to repair our bodies at different rates. So there is no like, how long will I use this? You'll use this until you can cross all the things off your list. Like I said, it's the price of a cup of coffee a day. Time's going to go on no matter what. Are you going to repair and regenerate your body, or are you just going to continue down the path you're currently down, right? Maybe frustrated, tried everything, every supplement, every therapy, and you're not getting your quality of life back because you just don't have the stem cells on board. The stem cells work great. Your body's stem cells work amazing with all the types of holistic therapies you're doing, all the different modalities that you're trying, or maybe the nutritional supplements, or whatever you're doing. If you're using medications, like I said before, there's no contraindications, but we have people that are coming down on their medications and even coming off their medications, of course, with your doctor's supervision. Please don't ever stop anything immediately, of course, but know that the longer you use this, the more this can help you improve your quality of life. And you can cross those things off your list and you can see the improvements and changes. Please keep track of them, because you know what happens when you're in pain. When your things hurt and then all of a sudden they don't hurt anymore, but you don't realize they hurt because you just forgot about it. I mean, we don't have to keep reliving the pain, even though there is no pain. That's kind of the way this works too. You'll start checking things off your list, and then you'll think back, like we Zoomed with a lady earlier today, and we said, well, what have you noticed from the X39 in the last 3 weeks? And she goes, really not anything. And then her friend's like, wait a minute, you told me this just last week. And she's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. So keep track of your progress. Okay. It's really important. But please know that we do have a Telegram channel. So if you have specific things going on with you, you can definitely, the person that invited you, of course, if you're a guest here, they can search the different types of things that are going on with you on your Telegram channel. We have over 3,000 recorded Telegram recordings in our Telegram, the Be Activating community. And so know that we can search different types of things. Like today, someone was talking about their heart issues. And so we searched heart, and sure enough, we found like 300 references to people that have shared improvements in their heart. And so again, the clinical studies show the longer you use these patches, the more benefits that you're going to gain. And again, I want you to understand this: regenerative medicine means regenerate the cells and tissues and organs. So they are younger, they are functioning as if they are younger. Stem cells, young, youthful stem cells, take old cells and tissues and make them young again. And so let's say you patched for 7 months. And you're like, okay, that's good. I've checked everything off my list. I feel amazing. Do you have to keep patching? Absolutely not. You do not. Your body has regenerated to that point. Those cells and organs and tissues are functioning as they are at whatever age that is for you. You will just start the aging process from that day, just as normally as you always would. You don't just poof, revert back and everything goes bad again. This is not like a medication that you take for your cholesterol and then you stop taking the medication and your cholesterol goes through the roof, right? It doesn't work that way. This is regenerative medicine. So please make sure you do a little research on that if you don't understand. David himself, he holds over 130 patents, over 70 of them in the area of regenerative medicine. So know that this man has got regenerative medicine down. I'm going to be talking to you guys, of course, about some other patches in here because I'm going to start answering your questions. So if you have a testimonial, want to share something that's worked out, great for you, please feel free to, comment in the chat section, but I'm going to answer some questions. So last week, I interviewed Marcy. Marcy was here in town with me. And so if you have any questions about cancer at all, she shared her experience with breast cancer and the patches and whatnot last Tuesday. So it's on my YouTube channel. You can look that up. But she uses the X39, the Eon, and the glutathione for that. So if you want to refer back to that. So if someone doesn't believe in the patches or that they work or understand how they work, please go to startx39.com. Leo, put that in the chat. startx39now.com. That will be able to give her the information that she needs to see the results, right? This is where our clinical studies are, our patents. You'll be able to see all of the data, the science, the research, and David's on there doing videos as well as other doctors, okay? So let me see. Can you can you say a little bit about people with neuropathy? All right, so when you look at nerve pain, okay, in the body, you would use the X39. We would definitely use the Eon. Eon is the patch that reduces inflammation. This is our second patch. You heard David talk about these this weekend. This was the #1 seller until he came out with X39. Reason why? When you reduce inflammation in the body, then the body has a better chance to repair itself, right? Inflammation is the root cause of disease. So we reduce inflammation, the same time we're increasing stem cell production, then we can speed up our regeneration and repair process. It's just the way it works. Stem cells in your body are drawn to inflammation like a moth to a flame. They want to go fix things, they want to go repair things, and inflammation says, nope, I'm going to consume you. And so we want to make sure we're targeting this at the same time. So when you look at the neuropathy, when you look at, nerve pain, you would use these two, as well as Ice Wave. We like to put Ice Wave, which is our pain patch, on K1, which is the balls of the feet right in here, and put that to open up the energy channels on the balls of the feet. Or you could also use it in the low back, okay? Ice Wave has 2 patches. It has a white patch and a tan patch. It does not fix your problem, okay? It is just going to eliminate the pain on the spot. It's going to open up energy channels and eliminate the pain. One of my son's friends' moms texted me yesterday. She goes, do you have any of that pain patch stuff? And I was like, yeah. She's already bought some for her dad. She goes, I've got a killer back pain right now. Can I come over and pick some up? 7 o'clock last night, she's knocking on the door wanting Ice Wave. She texted me this morning at 7 a.m. She's like, the pain's gone. Can I leave these on? I'm like, no, you got to take them off. Sorry. You got to take them off, give your body 12 hours to rest, and then come back and put them back on again. So definitely use the Ice Wave when you're looking at nerve pain as well, too. Again, it's not going to repair the problem. Your problems are going to get repaired from these two, which are going to get you the root. Okay. So great issue. What do you say when someone doesn't believe the patches are for real? Oh, same thing. startx39now.com. Go there, do your research. All the clinical studies. You don't get clinical studies, 90 over the last 20 years, unless something's obviously working right. When family members think you're trying to sell them something. So here's the thing that I would do, because we're not here to sell you anything. We're here to help you improve your quality of life. I would share with them the health tracker, and I would have them look at the front and the back of this. And I would ask them if there's anything in their life they want to improve, that you have found something that you thought would benefit them, and you just wanted to share it. And I would invite them to our 9 p.m. patching podcast we do Monday through Thursday, or our 4 p.m. Eastern on Friday, and let them hear 2 people share their personal testimonials and how this has helped them. And of course, if they they have a specific issue, go to the Telegram, pull up a recording, send it to them and say, hey, I know you're dealing with XYZ right now. Well, here are 5 people that have been dealing with the same thing, and these patches helped. So remember, we're not trying to sell people. And sometimes, honestly, your family can be your, your biggest cheerleader or your, worst cheerleader. And so some of your family may be supportive and want to utilize the technology, utilize this modality, and others don't. And that's okay. Don't get hung up on it, right? Everybody has their own journey, no judgment, no attachment. My mom used the patches for 30 days. It got rid of her diarrhea and constipation. She felt amazing. She stopped using them. She's 75. She stopped using them and she said, oh, I can't afford it anymore. And she's never used the patches since. She has all kinds of health problems now, but whatever, it is what it is. Now, my husband's family, they love the patches. And so it's just, don't worry about it, right? Everybody's on their own journey. So as far as question about Parkinson's, yeah, I definitely can't talk about Parkinson's, but we can look at the brain. And so when we talk about the brain, of course, it's X39 and Eon for sure. And then like you mentioned, definitely the glutathione. Glutathione is the master antioxidant, master immune booster, detoxer. We all should be using glutathione. When you look at the body, we know the oldest people on the planet have the highest level of glutathione. And so athletes have high levels of glutathione typically. And so it's definitely the master antioxidant detox or immune booster. Our glutathione is not like glutathione in an IV push or a suppository. Those types of glutathione are exogenous source, meaning putting something from the outside in. It's going to increase your glutathione about 20-23%. It has a 7-minute half-life. This patch actually signals a peptide in your liver to increase its own glutathione and sustains it for a 24-hour period. It increases at about 300 to 400%. So totally different. But you want to make sure that you're eliminating or reducing the toxic load in the body. When you look at any type of disorder or syndrome or disease, anything, the body is out of balance. And so we need to get to the root problems of that imbalance. And using something that's going to reduce the inflammation, this patch signals a different peptide in your liver to reduce the inflammatory markers. When you're boosting your immune system, when you're detoxing the body, you're removing some of that toxic load, and then your body's stem cells are going into repair. That's very, very, very valuable. The other thing I'll mention with the brain is carnosine. Carnosine is a patch that signals your body to make more of its own carnosine, which is a massive antioxidant, and it's huge as well for your body, definitely for the brain. It balances left brain, right brain hemisphere, improves cognition and communication. We know if you would just Google carnosine as a nutrient, because that's what it is, carnosine will detox aluminum from the brain. If you've ever used aluminum foil, anybody in here ever used aluminum foil? Anybody ever cooked with aluminum pots or pans? Anybody ever used deodorant with aluminum in it? Yeah. How about anybody eating any food with pesticides or herbicides that have aluminum in them? I'm sure you didn't even realize they did. So we want to make sure we're getting rid of that aluminum in our brain, right? And we know that, I'm not saying our patch does that, but I'm saying carnosine does based on clinical studies. And so if you're going to increase your own carnosine, you would make an inference that it would help to detox the aluminum from your brain. It also works fantastic for your heart. If you were to Google carnosine, you would find that carnosine actually clears clogged arteries. That's crazy. So you would make an inference maybe that if you increased your own carnosine level, then that could help to keep your arteries nice and clear. So I would use this as well too with anything to do with the brain for sure. New customer has been a smoker for years, reduced to only 2 a day. That's fantastic. Today is day 1 for wearing X39 Eon. She's 83 years young. What challenges is she going to experience and what would you recommend? So I would not expect that she's going to face any challenges. I would expect that she's going to start to feel amazing. So definitely X39, obviously Eon, yes, absolutely. I'd also include the energy enhancer because energy enhancer, especially when you use these points up here, energy enhancer, just like Ice Wave, you have a white patch and a tan patch. And so if you would put them right here, it's going to help to clear out the stuff in the lungs. The lungs can repair themselves just like every other organ can. Your body's stem cells can do that. But let's be honest, she's 83. I would definitely have her on them for a year, right? X39, Eon, glutathione. She has massive amounts of toxins in her body, and the energy enhancer would help to get some of that stuff out of her lungs as well. And let's see what other questions you guys have. Reverse aging with GHK.com, of course, is fantastic. So when you're looking at the eyes, eye health, you would use, of course, as always, X39 and Eon, but you'd also use the carnosine. We see great improvements with the eyes with carnosine. And that would be any type of eye thing. I remember when my daughter was in the hospital when she was 4, and we were actually raising money for one of the nurses. Her dad had had a surgery, a simple surgery, and things went wrong. And he ended up going blind during the surgery from the blood loss and what had happened. And so we were raising money for him to go to China to get a stem cell treatment. Over in China, it was $100,000, but they guarantee you'd have your eye back, your vision back. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money. And that was back in 2007. It's a lot of money today, but they raised enough money and he got his eyesight back. So we don't have to spend $100,000 for that. You can signal your body to increase its own stem cell production. Use your Eon, use your carnosine. We have people every single day that are telling us they went back to their eye doctor for their checkup, and their eye doctor said, oh, guess what? Your left eye doesn't need as much a prescription, or you don't even need one at all, or you can use your glasses from 2 years ago. How are your eyes repairing? So we hear that all the time with using our patches. Here's the thing I want you to keep in mind, okay? We can't pick where your body's stem cells go. We just can't. This is not an injection where you're putting stem cells into your shoulder to help repair this torn rotator cuff. It just doesn't work that way. And so it's actually a beautiful thing. When you put this patch on, your body, like I said, has its own innate ability to know how to heal itself. Your stem cells go to the areas that need it the most first. You may be like, my back's killing me. I want this fixed. I want the pain gone. And your stem cells are going, I'm sorry, honey, your liver's shot. Your kidneys are suffering. I'm going there first. Like, you just can't pick. And so that's why we use supportive patches in conjunction with this to help target the specific systems or organs in the body to help you get those results faster. We know none of you on here use a microwave because that's killing you, but we know that we live in a microwave society and you want things faster. We understand. And so you would use the X39 and the Eon to start with for every single thing to help you to start to get those results that you want faster, right? So keep that in mind. That's why I'm recommending supporting patches to support systems or organs in the body. As far as children, the first 2 people I patched were my kids. But that is a personal choice. So I cannot make any recommendations. Of course, we don't have clinical studies on kids. You can't have clinical studies on kids. That's a personal choice. As far as if it were my child, I can just tell you, if I had a child that was 6 years old and was not speaking correctly, slow in his speech, what would I do? Well, I would use the X39 and the Eon, and I would use the carnosine. Because the X39 is going to help give his little body a boost, give him a little boost. Something's not functioning correctly in there, right? Neurologically, don't know what it is, don't need to know. The X39 goes to repair everything, obviously including the brain. We have a 54-page brain study that's absolutely out of this world. But if I also look at, of course, Eon, a little bit of Eon, help reduce whatever inflammation's happening in there. And then carnosine directly works with the brain. These are the 3 patches I used on my daughter, and she went from nonverbal to verbal, was able to have communications with us. And so I would definitely use that. I've seen that with lots of kids that have speech issues or even nonverbal completely, and they start talking again. Sometimes even with just the X39. I'd start with the X39, give it a couple weeks, see how things go with that, maybe add in the Eon after that. Give it a couple more weeks and add in the carnosine. The patches can't hurt anyone because they're not putting anything into the body. So it's just asking the body to do what it's supposed to be doing anyways. But as far as like the anxiety and agitation, Eon helps with that fantastically. This patch also brings your body into a parasympathetic state. So you're either fight or flight, go, 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 stressed, which most people live that way, or you're calm, rest, digest, relax. And that's what the Eon does. When your body's in that restful state, then it can repair itself. So I would definitely do that. So wondering for a while if the benefits work for older folks. Absolutely. If they have no stem cells, they have stem cells. They're just all dormant. None of them are active in the body. And so what this does, it wakes them up. Let's go, resets them to their young, youthful state. They have amazing results. Rosemary, last Saturday, I wish somebody videoed Rosemary. She's 85 years old, Catherine's mom, Mark's mother-in-law, and she has been on a walker for 2 years and honestly, had said that she was ready for Jesus to take her home. She was in so much pain, had no quality of life. She was ready to go. And Catherine insisted that she put the patch on. So she started patching, and it took her 5 months before she noticed anything at all. But at 5 months, she called Catherine and she said, "I'm down by the lake." Catherine's like, "Well, how'd you get by the lake?" Because it's only grass and stairs. And sure enough, there she is at the lake without a walker. And she didn't think it was anything major, didn't really realize that she just walked without a walker. And she hadn't done that in 2 years. And here she is now, fast forward a little over a year. And obviously she's spry as a chicken and spring chicken and just go, 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 and come off a ton of her medications. I think she may be off all of them by now. I'm not for sure, but I know that she's not on a walker, and I know she gets around, and I know she is sharp as a tack. So definitely helps. I remember one lady, she was in a wheelchair. 10 months later, she was doing Zumba in her 90s. One of the patching podcasts we listened to. So can someone say what I said about if you're 66 months and then your cells get up to their full stem cell regeneration point at that time? So if you're in your 60s, then it takes that 6 months to get up to that point. Doesn't mean everything's going to be repaired in 6 months. I mean, we heard Bob Campbell this past weekend. Oh my gosh, it wasn't until 7 months that he actually got pain reduction from his feet and his knees and legs. So it was not at 6 months, it was at 7 months. And it was just over 2 years before all the cancer spots all over his body just disappeared. He'd had to have them burned off twice a year. So, it takes longer for different things, obviously. Like I said, we can't pick where our body's stem cells are going to repair first. And a lot of times you can't even feel it. Like, I don't feel my hair growing. I don't feel, my nails growing. I don't feel my eyebrows growing. I had to pluck those darn things all the time. I don't feel those things happening. You can't feel your liver repairing. You don't feel your blood flowing or your heart repairing, but those things are happening. And so know that from the second you put it on, it's always working to repair and regenerate. When you feel them, it's going to be different for all of us. When you look at the digestive tract, I would definitely use X39. I would definitely use the Eon to reduce the inflammation that's going on inside of the body, of course, the organs. I would also use SP6. SP6 is for our entire digestive tract, especially the intestines. So I love that. It balances the endocrine system too. So as far as the brain, again, we talked about the brain. You can definitely, I have on my YouTube channel, when you look at like the jab and stuff, if you go to my YouTube channel, David was interviewed on there speaking specifically about this and the patches he recommended. He actually showed slides of the cells, microscopy, if you've ever seen that, looking at the blood under microscopes. X39, Eon, and glutathione are what he recommended to reverse those symptoms. And yep, that was Sharon. Sharon broke her arm, 70 years old. X-rays show it's healed in 90 days. So morning sickness, I'm guessing that's from pregnancy. We don't have any clinical studies with pregnant women either. We don't have a patch for nausea, so I would have her consult with her doctor or whatnot before she used it. And then as far as fertility, so getting the body in balance, one of the first events I went to with David, X39 Eon, and definitely the SB6 to balance that endocrine system, gets things going correctly. But yeah, definitely check with your physician if you're pregnant and have nausea, because we can't make any recommendations on that. And let's see, you can definitely use it as long as you want. Here I am almost 2 years later, still patching. Why am I still patching? Well, I'm here for prevention. I'm here for longevity and vitality. The top 5 killers: Heart disease is number one. We only have one heart. It's number one killer. Diabetes, cancer, Alzheimer's, dementia, those degenerative types of diseases, if I'm not doing things to prevent them, then they're going to happen. The body is going to age. And so I'm going to do all the things, as I always have, to prevent that aging process in my body and to keep my body young and youthful and healthy. Yes, it's age. Obviously, I'm almost 50, but my cellular age says that I'm only 25. And so that's what I'm looking for, is the longevity and vitality and prevention side of this. And so I'm not going to stop patching. Like I said, I wanted to pay I didn't want to pay $25,000, but I was willing to do it for a stem cell injection twice a year because of the benefits. I've just seen the people that have done it, and I've listened to their stories. I've personally met them, spent time with them, flying, driving into Mexico. So you hear all kinds of stuff, and it's really helped people improve their quality of life and prevent things from happening, right? So what would you use for kids struggling with speech dyslexia when we talk about the brain? Again, X39, Eon, carnosine. So estrogen blocker, breast cancer. So again, revert back to Marcy's. We don't have enough time to go into all of that, but look at my Zoom from this past weekend at the very beginning. Marcy and I did that together, and she shared her personal experience being on blockers and having breast cancer and what she's done. But the patches were definitely X39, Eon, and glutathione. But as far as transplant issues, if you have an organ in your body, like a heart that's not yours, a lung or a liver, kidney that's not yours, then you wouldn't want to patch. But otherwise, you know, the patches are going to be fine for you. But again, check with your doctor. What's the cost? So retail for a month supply of the X39 is going to be $150. We call that a sleeve. A month supply is a sleeve. So $150 for a month supply. A month supply of our supportive patches is $80. Same thing. We call it a sleeve. So you can get two of, you know, these two right here for $230, right? 150 and 80, is that right? 5 and 8. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah, 13. Okay. Math, 230. Somebody help me out. We do what's called a silver pack, a silver wholesale pack, and it's $299. There's no sign up fee. Doesn't cost you anything to get the discount. You have an account that's completely yours for a year, but you can get 2 months of each of these for only $299. So you can get 1 month for $230, or you can get 2 months of each for $299 in our silver pack. But get back with a person that invited you. They can customize and help you. We have 4 different packs: silver, gold, platinum, and diamond. So obviously the more you buy, the better the price point, and they can help you customize what works best for you and for your family. Shine and Dream. Absolutely. I have them right here. Shine and Dream, David's latest invention. Remember me saying David invents everything? Like, he literally invents, downloaded by the divine, what he has created in this company. So Shine and Dream just came out back in November. These two definitely do balance your hormones. Don't have clinical studies that show that, because obviously that'd be crazy, right? But what I can tell you about Shine is it increases your oxytocin. You would use this in the morning or before a workout. Maybe it gives you a little bit of energy. Oxytocin is your feel-good, connection, love, happy hormone. You want to use this every day because you want to be happy, and there's a lot going on out there. And if you can increase your oxytocin, you're going to feel better. It also does a beautiful thing and takes old muscle tissue and turns it young again. So for those of you using the X49 to help build lean muscle mass with the 39, that muscle is still old muscle, but this Shine actually takes your muscle and turns it young and youthful again. So young, youthful muscle tissue, really important. But the Dream is definitely for a deep REM sleep. You use this at night while in bed because it does help you go to sleep. Both of these specifically help your body get your hormones in balance. David has shown that himself personally from what they have done with, I don't want to say, like, I don't know that these studies are reported. I don't want to say that yet because I have not seen them yet, but he has said that within the first 3 to 14 days, we can see the improvement in testosterone in men specifically. That's why he invented these, because he's going to be 60 in a couple months, and his testosterone was in the 300s, and now it's in the 700s. And so that's why he invented these, was to be able to get his testosterone in balance, all of his hormones in balance. So whether you're a male or a female, it's going to balance your hormones, the growth hormone, the estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, especially, which is really important to your health, especially women, right? And we look at the people that passed away from COVID, we saw they had two things in common: low vitamin D and low testosterone. So definitely want to keep your hormones in balance. So as far as cholesterol, we can look at that being an inflammatory response in your body. And so I would make sure you're using the Eon as well when you're using the X39. It does not cause your cholesterol to be high, but when we know there's inflammation in the body, your stem cells are probably trying to get to those areas that are inflamed. So just use the Eon as well to help you. So the Nirvana increased in the mood. That's fantastic. He said he was in tears because he hasn't felt so good. Oh, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, anxiety, depression, definitely the Nirvana system. The Nirvana works amazing for that. It's our mood enhancing, mood stabilizing, and balancing. So wonderful. My YouTube channel is Dr. Thank you for sharing that, Andy. Oh, you're so amazing. Thank you guys. Scar tissue, X39 for sure, Eon. And then I would also use Aloe Vita. Aloe Vita is for the skin. It is the patch that's for lines, wrinkles, circles, dark circles, spots, things like that. It's for anything with the skin, obviously scars. Definitely does a lot of other stuff. It reduces oxidative inflammatory stress, inhibits fast growing rogue cells in your body. And it also lengthens your telomeres, which determine the length of your life. That's kind of important. So someone struggling with prostate symptoms, definitely the X39 and Eon, absolutely, for sure. We've got great testimonials on prostate in our channel, our Telegram channel, so for sure. Oh, good to hear about your neuropathy be gone. That's amazing. Over 100 pounds overweight. Okay, so yes, it obviously works through any tissue. So it's not putting anything into the body. It's signaling your body's peptides, and it does that through the nerves on the skin. So nothing has to go in through the body and into, like you're thinking, like a substance going in. So it's light communicating with light. Our body's light communicating with the light in the patch. It's called a biophotonic exchange of information. So we can definitely help you with the weight. Definitely, we have what's called a tummy reduction protocol that we love, that works fantastic. It's not weight loss per se, but that's a beautiful side effect of it. It's using these three, of course, X39, Eon, glutathione. It's also using our SP6 and our energy enhancer. So these two work amazing, or all of these five, you can work amazing. But I will share with you also, clinical studies show that 2 months of using just these two alone, we saw a 11% body fat reduction in just 60 days with these. And again, David said with these, 2 inches off the waist and 3 inches off the waist in 2 weeks, or vice versa. 2 inches off the waist and 2 inches off the waist in 3 weeks. I'm looking at the picture in my mind on that paper. What did I write? So yeah, so this is going to help because it increases your own human growth hormone. So there's lots of different ways we can help get your body in balance, but it works no matter what. Doesn't need to be nothing going through. Does it target disease or orthopedic issues, or both? So we can't say that we treat any disease or cure any disease. It's just the way it works. We look at systems and organs and cells in the body. So if you go to startx39now.com, you'll see all of our clinical studies where you can see the improvements in your kidneys and liver, intestines, and your lungs and your heart and your brain and things like that. And we can see your systems like your digestive and your nervous system, your immune system, your endocrine system, your vascular system. We can see that on there. So it helps every single thing in your body, inside and outside. I've already mentioned the where on the body, put them on the body. So here's the thing, you can get really hung up in where to put the patches, but the beautiful thing is they all come with an instruction booklet. So you just pick a spot, stick with that spot for 7 days, try a different spot, stick with it for 7 days, try a different spot, stick with it. But the patches have their own instruction booklets, so you can't mess this up. It shows you exactly where to apply it. And again, it doesn't matter, like you could stick this patch on your big toe, it's still working systemically no matter what, because you have skin everywhere, you have light and heat everywhere. So it's always working to do what it's supposed to do. But because of the clinical studies, which are real and legit, you have to have set places that people are applying the patch in order to have a controlled situation, right? David has chosen to use traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture points, and because these meridians connect to different systems and organs. Okay, but know that if you put the patch on, this patch is glutathione, you can stick it below your belly button, you can stick it on top of your foot, or you can stick it in the center of your forehead. It's still going to increase your glutathione level. Okay. Let's make sure. I know we've only got 5 more minutes. So I have a YouTube channel, Dr. Staci, DrStaci. It will be on my YouTube channel as soon as we're done, and I'll have it uploaded for you guys. So again, I just went over the patches, where to place them. The energy and pain patch go in the same area. Energy enhancer, I don't know if I have instruction booklet here right now in front of me. Energy enhancer has its own instruction booklet, and I don't have it in front of me right now, but energy enhancer, there's 5 different spots. You pick the spots in the booklet. Okay, so white right, tan left, or there's inside of the wrist or top of the wrist, inside of the ankles, or on the outside of the knees. So just look in the instruction booklet. As far as ice wave goes, that goes where the pain is. So wherever the pain is, that's where you're going to put ice wave. Okay, white right, tan left, or you can do the clockwise method. Get back with the person that invited you. They'll help you with placement. 50-year-old been using X39 Eon for 6 months, hoping to prevent dialysis. Just went on 2 weeks ago. So again, we can't pick where your body's stem cells are going. Yes, she would be up to her full stem cell regeneration, but that doesn't mean that they're not somewhere else working. They may be working in her brain right now. They may be working in her heart. They're going to the areas that need it the most, and you'd think kidneys need it, right? But if you look at what else could I do, if I'm looking at something else, then I would look at the other patches that support the organs. We know based on clinical studies that glutathione supports the organs, carnosine supports the organs, and alavita supports the organs. So if she would want to look at how she can target the organs in a different way, obviously the kidneys are on there as well too. So hopefully that can help her out. So when you're looking at fertility, get the body in balance, X39 Eon, glutathione. Stomach issues, digestion. We work with a lot of digestive doctors, X39 Eon, glutathione, SP6. We already went over the brain, placement on the body. Put them on the body. Does not need to be on the brain. Just pick a point, any point, I promise. Just pick a point. You can get too technical trying to find too many different points, and just it really is working systemically. I love it. Put the patch on your 10-pound chihuahua. I love it. Okay, 68. Oh gosh. Okay, so let's see. Healthier. I'm trying to read all this real quick. A few things that are going on. That's a lot of things that are going on. So X39 Eon, you need ice wave for pain for sure. I would definitely use that. Glutathione, absolutely. Wonderful. Yay, that's amazing. Okay, fantastic. You're on it. That's amazing. 85, X39, X49, wonderful. Okay. And let's see, make sure, yep, the Zoom's on the YouTube. I love all these testimonials you guys are sharing. So amazing. Yay. So we don't have any research articles for vision with children. The reason why is because we cannot show that we are treating or curing any specific type of disease or disorder or syndrome in the body, whether it's genetic or whether it's something that's happened. We can't show that we're doing that. So we would look at the types of patches, what organs or systems in the body they're impacting. So obviously we know stem cells repair everything. So you can go to startx39now.com and see all the clinical studies on that. And when I talked earlier about the vision with eyes, I recommend the Eon and the carnosine as well too. That's great to hear. Place the patches for the eyes. You can definitely just put them on your body. No matter what, they're going to work in whatever order your body needs, right? Your body knows how to heal itself. SP6 is a patch. We have 1 minute. SP6 is a patch that balances your endocrine system. So that starts at the very top, the pituitary, all the way down through your adrenals. And so being able to balance your endocrine system is what the SP6 does. It helps with your organs as well, too. We see clinical research in the intestines and kidneys and liver and things like that. So definitely a great one for all of that. Make sure I have any more questions. We have 1 more minute. Thank you. God, you guys are amazing. You're putting all the stuff from the YouTube on there. I love it. When we look at digestive and autoimmune, when we look at the intestines, X39 Eon, glutathione, and SP6. For your broken foot, X39 Eon, absolutely. Some people use Ice Wave to kind of speed things up as well too, especially if there's pain. X39 Eon at the same time. Yes, you can definitely use them at the same time. But you can also use them X39 morning for 12 hours, take it off, and then put on the Eon and wear it for 12 hours at night. Either way is working, okay? X39 Eon together, wait for 2 weeks to bring in the Eon. I would absolutely use them together. I love both of those patches. We all have inflammation in our body, so I think it's amazing to use them together. X39 Eon for prostate. Gosh, lots of infertility tonight, lots of brain. Yep. So we would then use for your autistic son, if X39 was a little agitating, then I would use just the Eon, try just the Eon with him and see if that doesn't help to kind of calm things down. And if that works, then, give it maybe 7 to 14 days and then try just the carnosine with him. And because sometimes the X39 can give a little bit of energy. And so that may be a little bit too much, right? So balancing your fertility, you're looking at your systems, right? X39, Eon for sure, SP6 as well. Jenny, there's no placement, babe. You've asked me a million times. There's no placement for those for Parkinson's. I can't say anything. I honestly can't. So just make sure you put them on the body, okay? Brain protocol is X39, Eon, carnosine, glutathione for sure. Just put them on the body. And how do you ask the doctor if it's okay? And then I got to finish this up. So you just take the information, print off the health tracker, print off the patch summary sheet. We have startx39now.com. Take that information to your doctor, maybe, share that website with them, obviously, ask them if they'll look at it, do a little research. The thing that I always tell people is just ask your doctor if it's okay to use a non-transdermal patch. If it's okay for me to use a non-transdermal patch, doesn't put anything in my body, then most all of them say 99% of the time, yes, it's perfectly fine. All right. So if you guys have any other questions, please get back with the person that invited you. They can help you. Obviously, we all work together, but we're all connected. And so know that you have a knowledge base here. There's over obviously 200 people that have been on here tonight. So you have people that are connected through the uplines, through each other to be able to give you, the information you need on what patches would be best for you and what to start with. We've all been doing this for quite some time now, and we're all connected to people that have been doing it for quite some time. So thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you for taking your time out. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon, of course, on our Patching podcast, and I will see you again next Tuesday evening as well. So have a fantastic